All right, I just wanted to do a one take round robin around the Enneagram so we can kind of just get familiar with it and take a single pass that gives you guys a basic landscape of what it is. So we'll start at pattern one. The pattern one is the idealist, the reformer. This is the type that really has all their T's crossed and I's dotted. They put a tremendous amount of focus and energy on principle and getting it right, and really what is right, defining that, and redefining it if necessary. There can be a coldness with that. And when the one stresses, they're going to stress at moody pattern 4, okay? And when they grow, they're going to really be elated at the adventurous pattern 7, okay? So that's the movement of 1, and we'll move quickly on to 2. 2 is the helper, right? This is the pattern that is seeking to find really an individual to really assist because they want what that individual has, which in their mind is everything. Love, the connection to the universe. It's all about one-on-one with pattern 2. They must have that. So they will grow in a pattern when they begin to let go a little bit about their connection to that other and find something within themselves, something perhaps creative to share with the world. And that's them growing it at 4. They will unfortunately stress when they can't have that individual that they've selected at pattern 8, which can get quite reactive. It might be a reactive word for it. All right, moving on to pattern 3. This is the achiever, right? The displayer. This is the one that in the group needs to be seen as striving, achieving, and setting goals and achieving those goals. I would say that the United States has been under a pattern 3 sort of regime for a long time. This is a really well-supported pattern in our world. The 3 sits on the triad with the 9 and the 6. And the 3, when they can't be seen by the group to be the best, there is a withdrawn action here. And you'll see this with a number of different assertives, where there is a pulling back. And that pulling back is at pattern 9, right? Pattern 9 sits there ready to receive this 3 that is scattered and driven into a place internally to find solace, because they have now been shamed that they weren't the best, right? There's a lot of pressure on 3s. They use that pressure to grow. And just like the other patterns, if you take away the 3, we're left with no striving in life. It's much like if you take the 1 away, we have no order. If you take the 2 away, we have no help. No one helps anybody. You're all on your own. Take the 3 away and you have no striving, no goal setting, okay? So that's 3. Moving on to 4. 4 is the individualist. This is the, deep feeling, moody, observant, withdrawn pattern that all sort of internal creativity can emerge. Without 4, we really miss the ultimate individual's expression of art and expression. Individual expression is gone. Uniqueness is gone. Everything is the same. The flavors, the walls. There is no need to be unique. And of course, yes, the 4 will struggle with this need to want to be unique. If everybody's doing this, I want to be doing this. And that is an expression that we find in nature, in vivo, just like the Enneagram. No snowflakes are the same. That's mind-blowing. It's a lot of snowflakes in the universe. So the 4, when they stress, they're going to go to 2, which 2, we know under stress goes to 8, as we said, but 2 in its anger state is, to me, it feels like this unrequited love that never occurred. So 4s feel so deeply and can retreat into such a melancholic state that they begin to look like agitated 2s, moving towards 8, starting to get agitated, but ultimately there's withdrawn due to this complete loss. And when fours grow, they grow at one. They grow at taking this amorphous world within themselves, organizing it, and presenting it to the rest of us so we can consume it. And now we're part of their world and we understand them. And through that organized behavior at one, we can then read what's going on within them and they can share. All right, moving on to 5. This is the observer. This is the pattern that carries the cerebral weight on the Enneagram. If we remove 5, there's no thinking. We don't really have to think this through. Let's just keep moving. Let's move into action. Let's argue about feelings and this and that, but let's not think about the whole thing. And so the weight that they pay is a tremendous amount of information that is gathered, but ultimately feel buried under that information and don't get into acting, right? So the 5 in growth is going to grow at 8, is going to grow into this active, let's get it done. We've done the cerebral work. Let's move into action. And when they're stressed and they are in a disintegration state, they're going to move to 7. And 7 is that scattered space when in its dark side of 7 is this highly scattered, can't decide, can't figure it out. The information isn't present, right, for the 5. So they get their information right and they move into action. Very important that they then move into action and we get those 5s out there. Those are the people that we want calling the shots. They've done the math, they've done the work. Let's help them be leaders. All right, and moving on to 6. This is the skeptic, right? This is the loyalist. This is a social pattern, ultimately, looking at the social group and checking on that group as far as, what is the tone and feeling of the group? Am I safe, right? This is what the 6 is continually asking themselves. Am I safe? Am I safe in this group, right? So the 6, in this state of anxious need from the loyal groups that they've followed and whatever their current state is of safety for them, they will stress at 3. This is looking like someone who has not been seen by the group, who is in a state of disintegration, and now they've gone from a fear of their own safety into a dark, sort of withdrawn space as that dark 3. The way forward for 6s are to go to the 9, to go to that place of rest at the top of the Enneagram. Take a moment. You're held. You will be fine. We will get through this together and we will be better on the other side, right? Supporting that 6, supporting that energy, right? Should we take 6 out? Let's remove it from the Enneagram. We lose all prudence, right? We lose all ability of looking ahead, looking forward for the group. Is this the right movement that we should make at this time? But it feels a little bit like maturity. Is this the right behavior for this time? That gets removed. Now we have no need to be concerned. There are no concerns. Everything that everyone's doing is fine all the time. We probably need this. We need this check. All right, moving on to 7, the enthusiast. Everybody loves a great 7, right? These super hyper positive seekers of adventure is the pattern. This is the second assertive pattern we've come to after 3. And this is the pattern that is really seeking the freedom to do what they want to do in life. Life is an amazing, mysterious experience waiting to be discovered, right? And this is true. It's 100% true. And this pattern has decided that is what life is about. And so in their constant passion of seeking, yes, some things get left behind. Yes, there's a few little stragglers. And yes, I do fear pain. I want things to be positive all the time. But I see life keeps coming in at me. And when that happens, I feel that I need to express how I feel about that. And that can be in a critical way. And that is the 7 going to 1. Struggling at 1, struggling at that place of criticism where it's not just a complaint, it's a criticism. I am now addressing you and the way in which you do things because I am no longer able to spread my wings and fly and have that assertive need to get what I need in life. But it is through the 5 that the 7 grows. So by moving to 5, 7 then finds that life isn't so much do fun things, but do things fun. Find a way mentally to wash the dishes and remember Bermuda. Find a way to have those monotonous things in life, know that they feed into something greater for the self. Going to that 5, another mental space for the person, going from 7, a mental world, into 5, and making that switch and being in the present. That the 5 is always observing the present. It is the 7 that wants to look away. Now we take the 7 out, that's okay because we don't need him, right? No joy. Nothing good. Nothing curated. That's it. That whole feeling, that's gone. Well, we want it. We're going to want that. They stay. And they're fantastic. All right. Moving on to pattern 8. Yes, the boss, the challenger. This is an assertive pattern, our third assertive pattern, 3, 7, 8. And they move as assertives do against people to get what they want. And this is the pattern that's probably going to put his hands on you. We are a very expressive, hyper energetic, usually cores burning inside of us, creating tremendous amounts of energy that we find we need to express in the world, which comes out in us doing quite a bit. Really getting involved and doing, often not thinking everything through, and getting it done. Just do it, right? So the doer, the challenger, begins to grow when they take all of that power that they have within themselves and they go to 2 and they say, how best can I help you? And they do it with the complete, sort of autonomy that they've developed. 8s are definitely going to take care of self before they take care of others. But because 8s operate like the mafia, meaning, you're in and I don't know who those people are, we take time to get to know who's within our group, and then we will do whatever we can to defend them and to represent them, right? And when we go to 2 and we say, hey, how best can I help you now? How best can I bring this energy to help uplift you? We then are moving in that place of growth. Unfortunately, when we stress, we retreat to 5. So 8s will have a very intense come on and bluster. And if they are thwarted in any way and they need to retreat, if it starts to get painful for them, if they feel their vulnerabilities are going to be exposed in any way, they retreat. And we go back into the space of mental 5, right? That hypercerebral point on the Enneagram. And we go into this rat race of why would that happen? I can't imagine. I had everything figured. It's crazy. So it is through 2 that 8 will grow. And 8, again, as the challenger, brings a challenging force to the Enneagram. And we take that out and we remove all protection. All ability to protect the organism from any defenses from outside, that's gone. And that's left us with a pattern that in the modern world can be difficult, to handle. We are, very reactive 8s. But that is through the process of protection that we provide. And so we'll stick with the protection. And lastly, it's pattern 9. This is the peacemaker. This is the beginning and end of the Enneagram. All numbers feed into this great, large, beautiful number. Peacemakers are some of the most loved people on the planet. The price they pay for that is their abdication. They're giving away of what they really need, right? And also the process of finding out what it is you really need. And so by giving that up, the 9s make the people around them quite happy. And we enjoy their presence just from that simple fact that they're so easygoing. But it is the abdication that inwardly on 9s begins to build a frustration and irritation from within. By them continually abdicating what they need, they then eventually come to a place of anger, of explosive anger. And that anger will lead to anxiety. It will lead to the 9s disintegrating at 6, right? Here's where the 9 will find tremendous anxiety as all the needs that they did not express and were unable to come forward with find a complete breakdown of, logical, conscious neocortex thought. So they suffer at 6. but they grow at 3 when a 9 can stay in their bodies, right? Don't retreat into that place so deep and safe inside themselves, but come forward, get into their bodies and start doing things with their bodies, with their minds, in the world, being active, and not just that, but taking all of that knowledge that they have. Again, the 9s carry tremendous knowledge, taking that and really becoming an expert, really becoming fantastic at something, takes that 9 to 3. They begin to then feel their worth outside of what is within themselves, right? And come out and share that with us, because we already love you. We want to see you happy and love you more. There's the 9. So there you have it. There's one way of looking at the Enneagram. There are infinite ways of doing it, but there is a quick rundown of the patterns. We talked about some assertive patterns in there. There are also compliant patterns, such as the 2, the 1, and the 6. These are looking to comply with people, move with people to figure out what they need so they can get what they need in life. And then we have the withdrawns, right? The 4, the 5, and the 9. These are the people that are kind of seated back, kind of exploring what's happening around themselves. You can see them, and you can see that behavior. They are in a process mostly of moving towards assertive and compliant types, much like the assertives are in a process of moving towards the compliant and withdrawn types, right? We are looking to mix the assertive withdrawns and compliers in a way that each one of them goes through a process of growth. And so with the Enneagram, you get this beautiful map, this incredible graphic, incredible map that you can help memorize how these different patterns and behaviors express themselves. I'm hoping with the Enneagram channel to share more about these patterns through scripted content, music, other ways of establishing these patterns. And so you can really get a feel for how they express themselves and how to better identify them in your life. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.